He didn't hear the applause. He heard the silence that came before it. Because when the world breaks, it doesn't make a sound. Not at first. And sometimes, what you create to save it is the thing that ends it. Hi, I'm Aaron, and this is StoryArt Cinema. Each week, we take a closer look at powerful scenes from film and television and what they reveal about consequence, memory, and the quiet weight of being human. Today's episode explores Oppenheimer. Not just the myth, but the man. The choices that made him, the silence that followed, and the people, especially the woman beside him, who refused to let history tell only half the story. Because sometimes the most lasting impact doesn't come from the explosion, but from the fallout that ripples quietly through the rest of our lives. They thought she'd fold, that if they pressed hard enough, she'd break. But Kitty's silence wasn't surrender. It was the pause before a strike. Because there's a difference between weakness and restraint. And when she finally speaks, she doesn't protect him. She doesn't even plead. She turns their questions back on them, dismantling every accusation with the precision of someone who lived with more than they'll ever understand. She's not there to explain him. She's there to remind them what they asked of him, what they applauded, and what they destroyed the moment it stopped serving them. Her voice doesn't rise, it doesn't shake. Because when you've watched the man you love be torn apart for carrying the burden they couldn't, you don't meet their doubt with apology. You meet it with fire. She didn't flinch, not when they pushed, not when they twisted the truth. Because some things aren't argued, they're stated. Clearly, unapologetically. And when history looks back, it won't just see the man in the chair. It'll see the woman beside him, unmoved, unbroken, unwilling to let them decide what kind of story this would be. They thought it would be glorious, a moment to define their brilliance. But as the countdown fades and silence stretches across the desert, there's nothing left to feel but dread. He put the goggles on, but even they can't shield him from what's coming. Because it's not just the light, or the heat, or the force. It's the knowing, the awful clarity that some lines, once crossed, can never be undone. They didn't just build a weapon. they opened a door. And behind it, the future waits. Changed, inevitable. And somewhere in the glow, he sees it. The beginning, the end, and himself trapped between them. He thought they would be saved, that the damage would end at the blast. But the silence that followed the explosion wasn't peace. It was sickness. He listens to the reports, the numbers, the symptoms. And slowly, they become faces, names, lives. And what once felt like history starts to feel like consequence. Because when you ignite something that can't be undone, you don't get to walk away untouched. And this time, there's no equation to hold him together. He wasn't just building a bomb. He was building a reflection. And in it, the world saw itself. Brilliant, terrible, hungry. They called it genius. They called it power. But all he saw was the beginning of an end. And still, he followed through. We watch as time unspools, the metal hoisted into place. But behind it all is a man slowly realizing he's not in control. He's a symbol now. A name wrapped around destruction. The parades, the medals, the praise, they move around him like noise. But inside, he's frozen, looping, haunted. Not by what he failed to do, but by what he did too well. And in his face, we see it. The pride, the shame, the unbearable question still asking itself, was it always fate? Or did I create it? Some stories don't give us peace, but they do give us pause. And sometimes that's enough. This is StoryArt Cinema.